Hi there. Today we're going to go through Firebase AB testing combined with ad level impressions. The idea being that simply looking at a Firebase AB test outcome today in the Firebase console, you can see events as the users or the variants of the individual test, the number of events they fire. You can't really see overall revenue. So by combining ad impressions with the actual Firebase AB test, you can actually see user LTV, cumulative revenue metrics associated with the AB test variants. So let's go through today a hypothetical demo app. There's two variants here. Both have a complexity, hard complexity, long level length, and those are blue and dark blue. And then you've got extremely easy level, short level length, and then you've got some variant level lengths here, red, green, and yellow. So if you look at the daily active users, which is what we're looking at right here, you'll start to see a spread of users after the 31st of March where the high complexity falls off, where people are not as engaged and they're falling off, presumably because the number of games is too tough and people are churning out. If you look at the total impressions per variant, this is an ad impression count per variant, you see this immediately. So there's a big decrease of your baseline and hard impressions because presumably the users are stuck between the levels, not seeing the ads, and they're churning out and not coming back to the app. So a good indication that hard levels aren't going to be your winner here. But if you look at CPM, which is interesting, you see the CPM of the hard levels, extremely hard, being the top. This actually does make sense if you think about it. The least amount of impressions and the longest amount of time between apps means that you're likely going to see a higher CPM because there's less impressions and more time between impressions, which is valuable to advertisers. Will that actually make up with revenue? Well, let's check it out. If we go to cumulative totals and we look at the cumulative number of impressions earned by each variant, you'll see that, the highly complex levels are pretty much tested out here. Let's jump to revenue and you see that, the highly complex levels are tested out, so it's probably not winners. The easy level, because of the CPM, was tested out, and then the 1+2 easy was tested out likely for the same reason. So let's jump down to retention rate, which is one of the most interesting. If you look at retention, they're all grouped because retention really matters at small percentages. You'll actually see down here the 2 hard, 2 easy is 2.27 versus the 1 hard, 1 easy, 2.63, 0.5% higher at the end of 30 days. Does that actually matter? Here's where we get interesting. Go to LTV and you see that the variant 1+1, so 1 easy, 1 hard in variant, is actually showing the highest LTV of all tests. That would be hard to do if we're just measuring number of ad impressions or in-app purchases for the sense. Does that actually matter long-term? If you look at forecasting and we actually enable the projection of the winner, which is the 1+1 easy, and you actually pick the power module, project it out 360 days, you'll see the winner at 37.3 cents at the end of 360 days. If you look at that against the baseline, it's around 34 cents. That's a full 8% difference over 360 days, which may not seem a lot, but if 8% increase of LTV of all your users, that might be a huge increase of your overall ROI of buying users. And remember, this can be applied without making any in-app purchase changes or any actual infrastructure changes. So it could be very, very beneficial for your app if you start to iterate on this. So I'll put a link to this analysis in a little bit more detail in the comments, but happy to show you how this A/B testing with in-app impressions could be valuable for your app. Give us a shout.